You might ask, why are we focusing on meetings? As I said earlier, I'll talk about that in a minute. Surely, metaphors are very much in meetings. What I've found about meetings is the following, friends. First, there's something like about 25,000 meetings in a career. If you take one meeting per week, which is very conservative, lowballing, and there are 50 years of productive work, you have something like good number, 25,000 meetings in a lifetime. How many of them are different from the other? How do you make sure that each one of them is creative and effective and meaningful? Not by just following a rigorous set of rules about agenda setting and all those things. They're important too, but by thinking differently and by causing a variety of metaphors to be invoked and then utilized appropriately. Executives spend something like about 50 to 75% of their time in meetings. Families and friends spend as much as 50 to 80% in meeting one another. So if that is the amount of time we invest in meetings, meetings become a core area for investigation. And the metaphors we use in the meetings, therefore, have an important role, a core role to play in what we do. In a decision-making setup, we know that decisions are binding, often for a long time. And meetings are the forum where, a lot happens before and after, but that's where we decide what, how, when, why, where, and then we effect it into the future and hope that things will happen in some way or the other through literal languages only. I have also seen that under negative pressure of failure or crises or positive excitement, metaphors are flowing even more in these meetings. They are more prominent. And so when people are involved in problem solving as well as in opportunity identification, they use more metaphors than literal language because they're going into the world that isn't there yet. And so they are not able to express things literally and exactly yet. The there hasn't come there yet. And so they are using the metaphors in powerful ways to communicate the emotions and generate the new ideas and look at the future as it will be. Finally, a board's effectiveness through the stages of a corporate evolution matters. Boards and their roles change as the companies that they are boards of change in size and shape and their product ranges, in their geography, and in the kind of people that they bring in. And you can define the success or failure of a board to a large extent on the metaphors that they are applying to those organizations. It's a learning opportunity also for boards if they consistently and persevere and record the metaphors they use. Then over a period of time, a board would know its learning history and that of its company. But we often don't do that. The very few who do go forward by leaps and bounds. So it's not only about meeting minutes, it's about meeting metaphors and recording those as well. Management approach is that we should be able to then change the metaphors. Once we know what metaphors we are using, we may be doing that rightly, wrongly, knowingly, unknowingly. How do we change that? Because effecting change is management. And that is to change metaphors, and that will change the performance and destiny of an organization. And we have developed the template for that, which is a very powerful one that matches the flows of metaphors over time. And a lot of before and after of the meeting is captured there. And the disparities between the promise and the payoff. The big difference, the promise versus the payoff. And that can be codified and understood best with metaphors.